Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're across at the Norfolk coast again with the van. We about an hour's drive from our base out towards Walcott, between Walcott and Haysborough. You'll remember we were here a few weeks ago when Storm Arwen came in. We made a video log about that. I'll put the card above if you haven't seen it. One of our favourite haunts, nice little pub. It's a caravan and camping club CL. Nice spot, easy access for a number of things. We've got an interesting few days coming up. Tomorrow we're taking the van to have Gaslow LPG tanks fitted. It's something we've been meaning to get around to and not quite managed it, so ahead of a European trip we're going to get those fitted, and I'll talk to you more about that tomorrow. I'm also going to have the oil and filter changed. It's not due for service yet for 6 months, but ahead of a trip I'm going to have it changed. And about 7,000 miles, which is not high mileage for just over a year old, but particularly, but it's been stood quite a bit, and I tend to think that that's probably not a good thing for the engine, so we're going to drop the oil out, get that turned around tomorrow. We're going to take it down to Simpson's at Great Yarmouth. Now that's not our main dealer. Our main dealer is in the Midlands, but it is a nearer one and it is a reputable dealer, so we're going to let them do the quick service on that, and then we'll take it back to the main dealers later on in the year when it needs to be serviced again and for its hab check. Yeah, so that's the plan. Now while the van's in for service, we're going to nip off and find some more Banksys. As you know, in the last video we found one in Cromer, there's a couple in Great Yarmouth and one in, I think there's one in Gorsden as well, so we're going to have a run around tomorrow and find that. Helen will join me, not coming tonight, simply because the dog's got a vet's appointment in the morning. You probably know Poppy was spayed last week, and she's got a check-up in the morning, and if she passes she might be able to do a little bit of walking. So Helen will join me at some stage during the day, and then we're staying here till Sunday. We're going to do a bit of photography. I've got a one-to-one photography class on Saturday to try and improve my skills a little bit further, and it's looking like a good few days. Weather looks good. I think we're in for a good time. But now I'm going to the pub. I'll show you when we get in there. If you don't remember from last time, this is a lovely place, so I'll keep you in the loop. But there's a pint in there with my name on. Good morning. Well, pot of tea on, an early riser, which I always am. We're getting ready to go to Great Yarmouth, take the van in to get the gas done and get the service done. So we're finish my tea, get washed up, and then we'll be down the road. It's about a 30-minute run down to Simpson's. Not been here before, but we're going there primarily because it's they are a Gaslow, official Gaslow fitter, and I know people do their own fitting, and that's great. I'm just not really my bag, really. The thought of drilling a hole in the side of my vehicle fills me with dread, so I'm going to let somebody who knows what they're doing do it, and hopefully they'll make a better job than I would. So that's where we are, and we'll see you during the day. Oh, and then, like I said yesterday, then we're going to head up on foot and see if we can find these Banksys. Well, I've dropped the motorhome off. Quite an interesting discussion, isn't it, with the mechanic when he says, where do you want the hole cutting in your van, sir? I said, a bit of a gulp. It's a bit of a thing, isn't it, cutting holes in your van where they're going to put the filler cap. You can have the filler cap for LPG put inside, but some garages won't serve you. So it's a bit of a quirk of the thing that it really ought to be on the outside. Can be in the skirt, can be in the door. I've taken the decision to have it in the door simply because my take on it is that if I wanted to, and you can take the kit out and move it across to another vehicle, then I'd have to just replace the door to the gas cabinet, I mean, as opposed to a hole in the skirt. So I'm going to go down that route. Otherwise you'd have to leave the kit in, I suppose. Now I still may do that ultimately, but I'm not planning to sell it anytime soon, so it should be alright. So let's have a look around some of these vans. Unlike earlier on in the year, there does now appear to be a good elements of stock. Now, there's quite a few auto trails, and these are all used vans on this side. Some new ones here, some 21 plated ones anyway. But yeah, plenty of stock, which is nice to see. I think at one point it was getting a bit desperate for the dealers, but given the problems getting all the new ones, back orders being what they are, it's good to see such a stock for people. We walk across, that's the main sales place. It's also a Skoda dealers and Great Yarmouth's authorised Fiat service place. There's no accessories shop on this site, which is a bonus for me. It's a good way of keeping Ellen from buying more stuff. So when we come back later on and when she joins me to pick it up, if there was a shop, she'd be straight in it. So the bank balance is protected. So trainers on, time for a walk. Let's go and find these Banksys. Not a very attractive place where I am now, so I'm not going to take too many films. It's on an industrial estate. I'll put the camera back on when there's something interesting to show you. This great expanse of water comes from over there, feeds in from the Norfolk Broads and ends up being navigable all the way out to sea. This is it. Over the bridge into Great Yarmouth. So this one, this man and woman dancing and a guy accompanying on the accordion, appeared in August last year. Of course, with all Banksys, you can never be 100% certain, but looking at it, and I'm no expert, looks pretty likely that it is one of his works. There's a lot of similarity. They quite interesting. That's the second one we've bagged, given the one at Cromer. So we're going to push on and try and find another one if it's open. It's actually in one of the attractions on the seafront, but it depends whether it's open today, whether we can get down and see it or not. But yeah, what else would you do while your motorhome's in for service? We're now on the seafront. And that's what is now a bowling alley there. And panning round towards the pier. In the distance, we'll have a walk up there, I think. That's an interesting picture, just on a boardwalk, which I'll show you in a minute, but it's an old caravan park from Great Yarmouth in 1956. You can see some of the types of vans. I'm fairly certain that Trev from Poshcats had one of these. Just joking, Trev. Well, there's some major redevelopment work going on, and this is just the boardings, but it's got a lot of old period pictures on the wall, which are quite nice. Well, sadly, the other Banksy is in there and it's closed, like a lot of things today. So I'll have to try and find you a bit of footage from somewhere else or a picture to show you and go and see it another time. So we'll push on. Hello. Is there any room for me in there?
I think there is, yeah. I'm having to move everything.
Yeah. Now, oh yes.
Oh, there we
There's
go.
a girl.
Yes, somebody's
There's
wanted
a girl.
to see you.
Right,
She's very,
okay.
very excited.
We're coming.
Very, very excited.
We're coming.
There we go.
There we go.
Get
There we
down,
go.
get down, get down.
She's been all right.
Yeah, she's been fine.
Well, look who's back.
Yes, back in the room. Poppy's here.
Yeah.
Nearly recovered from a surgery. She's been very good at the vets today. She's got to wear her pet shirt for another week.
It's going to stink.
I know it is, yeah. If I can get it off her for long. The thing is, I could probably get it off. It's whether I could get it back on again that would be because they do it when they're still sedated. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'd need to sedate her again to get it back on. So yeah, she can do 10 minutes walking now a day. And then next week she can go in the garden and be off a lead, and then she can go off a lead after that. So yeah, she's a bit like a cage lion. Yeah. And she's going to be doing the vroom, 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 vroom round on a lead because she's getting very, very excited. So yeah.
Now then, when you picked me up and you said, would I drive because you got a headache?
Yes.
Did you really have a headache?
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't just to see my reaction when I realised that you'd pre-programmed all the buttons in the car to something completely different?
You know, I have a very low, you've got a very low boredom threshold, but so have I. And so when I'm parked up and when I'm waiting, I just tend to mess with everything on the car. So I've changed the colours on everything. The heated seat comes on when it gets to a certain temperature. But the good thing is I have turned that thing off that throws you back into the carriageway if you don't indicate.
You've turned that back on?
No, I've turned it off.
Oh, good.
I've turned it off, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's set with one of these systems where if you go over the dotted white lines, it throws you back into the carriageway, and it's so violent it nearly throws you off the other side of the road. So we've turned that off. But yeah, we've done well with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we're sort of wasting a bit of time now to go and pick the van up, and then we'll go back up to Walcott and spend a few days up there. Might have to take you for a cheeky half.
Half a lager, that would be very nice. Do they sell Moretti at this one, don't they?
They sell Moretti, and they also sell draft
Leffy.
Oh
no, it'll have to be Moretti, I think.
But yeah.
I think you owe me a drink actually after you were in the mucky pub last night.
I did nip in just to be sociable.
Yeah, you were telling me that just because there's somebody else there that you were talking to, and it was cold outside.
There was some more vanners there, and it's only polite. It's only polite. They would have thought bad of me if I hadn't told.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's only polite.
Yeah, so you owe me a pint now.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go and see if the van's ready, shall we?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Well, we got the van back okay. Pretty impressive service, really, from Symptoms. Seemed to be a difference, doesn't it, when you deal with a motorhome dealers or also a car dealers. The car dealers seem to be streets in front in terms of customer service, staying in touch, making you feel like you're valuable. There's just something about it. So I quite enjoyed the experience of Simpsons, and I have to say that the drive on the vehicle coming back, they did a full service on it, plugged it in, a couple of software uploads, and it's running quite well now, so I'm quite pleased about that. But I just thought I'd show you the Gaslow setup, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about that as I promised. So here we are. Now on the Nouse, you will see that it's side by side, one behind the other, which is a little bit cramped, but it works quite well. It's got valves to turn off and off the tanks, as you'd expect, and the loading systems in the door. So it's just a question of opening that, and when you fill them up, it goes on to that nozzle there, and there's a bayonet fitting, so it clips on, and then you pretty much like a fuel cap, petrol filler, you close it, click it at the bottom to hold it, and then you press a button on the machine, unlike on a excuse me, petrol or diesel cap, and hold the button on the machine until it's full, and then you get a little bit of, as you turn it off and release it, you get a little bit of a release of gas. That's normal. First time you do it, it can sound a bit strange, but that's normal, and then you're away to go. It's quite straightforward, really. Now what you do get with your system is adapters. That's a general Euro adapter. That's a Spanish adapter, and that's a French Italian adapter. So there's some dilemmas with fitting LPG, as I'm sure you've read about in other places. If you look at it purely from a cost benefit analysis, and you don't do a lot of European travel, then it's probably not worth it. It'll take you quite a long time to get your return on the money that you pay. I mean, the prices at the moment, LPG wise, are average around 80 pence a litre, which makes the refill cheaper, although it's not as cheap as it once was, but it's still quite cheap. Makes it cheaper in terms of the pure gas that you fill your tanks with. But obviously to fit them, this has cost £750 to fit this system to this vehicle. That's the reasonable going rate. You might get a little bit cheaper if you buy the kit direct, and either you can do it yourself or you have a local approved mobile guy to come and do it for you. But that's what we've paid, about £750. And also the other dilemma is that availability locally of LPG stations. There is an app that you can use that helps us to find the stations both here and in Europe, but to go and fill them up you may have to drive and to find the station to do it. The app tells you on a map where you plots your location and your location relative to these stations, so it's easy to find, but they're not as prevalent as fuel stations. And to be fair, the convenience sometimes of changing the static standalone gas at a campsite, it will not be there. So that's the irritation factor, is that certainly in the UK you have to travel a little way to get gas to fill up, but of course you don't fill up very often, and if you plan it in with a trip and you're going somewhere, there's ways of getting around that. Now when you get to Europe, there is an added advantage that if you don't have onboard tanks for your LPG either in the cupboard like us or underslung underneath, which is an option for people if they want to. We've not gone down that road because of the this vehicle's dual skinned, so we don't have any tanks on the bottom at all, not water or anything. But if you are travelling in Europe, standalone tanks are a problem. Once they're empty, you can't just swap them like for like. There are different fittings, not just in the pigtail, but actually in the delivery system, and it's not so easy to get hold of them. And the only way around it is to perhaps buy cans of camping gas, but it's very awkward. And there's a lot more LPG stations in Europe that you can work, and again the app tracks you to where they go. So if you're making a decision on whether to fit LPG to your system, in tanks to your system like we have, it has to be a question of do you have designs on European travel, and do you see yourself as being keeping the vehicle that you're going to buy for a while in order to get a return for it. And really for us wasn't really a financial decision, although nobody wants to waste money. It was just simply that with the European travel that we do and we've got planned, we've always found it more convenient to do it this way, and we still think that's the case. And it's an interesting dilemma that people have to make their own choices depending on what the usage is, but we're quite pleased to have it done. So that's it. So I'm going to wash the van off now because the van is filthy, and one or two people have asked me about how good the ceramic coating is. Well, if I just show you around this van, it's been on the road. Farming's very active in this area where we are, and the roads are all very muddy. So driving both here and down to get it serviced and back, the van is absolutely acky. So I'm going to wash it this morning. So you can see from the colour of the back of it, it's really not very attractive. Don't like having a dirty van, so it's time to just do a bit of washing and get it tarted up. I hope that little bit of footage of cleaning the van serves to prove just how easy it is to wash your van when it's heavily soiled and it's been ceramic coated.
Hello, I'm back. It almost feels like I'm doing a guest appearance. I've been missing on the last two vlogs for one reason or another. As you probably know, Poppy's had a bit of an op and she's needed me to look after her, so we're out and about now. We've done all our jobs on the van. It's clean inside, it's clean outside. So we've come down to Horsey Gap to have a look at the seals so Martin can take some pictures. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've done a full vlog here before, and we'll put a card at the top so you can have a look at it. It's a chilly and breezy day, but the sun's shining, there's not a cloud in the sky, or very few clouds in the sky. I'll turn you around so you can see where we are. It's Martin's there with a camera, looking on the hunt for seals. One or two people out on the beach walking, but the tide's quite far in today. So we finally managed to track down the seals. If in any doubt, just look for the crowd of people. We've enjoyed looking at the seals. Poppy was really quite interested in them, but obviously we didn't let her get close to them, and it's all cordoned off with the seal wardens there. So Scott, what do you think? Do you think you've got some good pictures?
Yeah, I always like coming down here. It's you never quite know what you've got to get them out of the camera and on the computer, but I'll put them on the end if anybody's interested. But yeah, it'd be good. It's a good place. Nice fresh day. Interesting how the seals weren't spread out as much today. They were all in one place, huddled up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's a January in Norfolk. I wouldn't be going in the North Sea.
But, yeah, I think I got a couple of good ones. But,
good,
yeah, we'll
good.
See.
So that's it done. That's it done for now. We're on our way to Haysborough to go and see our favourite lighthouse. So here we are at Haysborough. This is our last stop on this trip. One of my favourite beaches. It's a little bit different today. It's still quite chilly and there's a wind up, as you can probably tell from this unkempt looks that I've got. We've parked just over there. You can probably see around there, and you can see there's some fencing up which has stopped you getting access onto the beach.
Saturday night at the arcade, silver coins in my hand, ready to make some damage. Saturday night at the arcade, silver coins in his hand, ready to make some damage. He wakes up, he gets drunk, and he hides at this day. I said, oh, my heroes are dead, then I don't believe in God. Who's gonna save me?
We hope you've enjoyed our travels over the last few days. It's great to be back doing the vlogging and not just leaving it up to Martin. We can probably hear a search and rescue helicopter going over the top of us now as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following us on our journey. We'll be with you again soon. If you're relatively new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If you subscribe already, then thank you. Any comments, any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next one. Helen out.